Hello, good evening, and welcome to this Valentine's special edition of Mackmyra Live. Co-hosting with me this evening, as per normal, is my good friend Richard Micky. Good evening, Rich. How's it going?
Good evening, Mick. Very well. I hope you're keeping well, and same goes for everyone that's joining us this fine evening.
Battling the snow, mate. Battling the snow at the moment. All good, all good. So, guys, for this edition of Mackmyra Live, we're celebrating Valentine's Day, as you can tell. But the lovely love hearts around us, and mine and Richard's loving gazes that we always do anyway. We'll be highlighting Moment Prestige and our honey liqueur B as well. And we'll also briefly cover our core range and how much love and care we, intertwines with it and what we put into the whiskey making process as well. But before anything else, grab yourself a drink, pour a Mac. And while we're doing that, Rich, do we have anything for our lovely guests this evening?
We've got a few things. We've got an offer to talk about, and then a Valentine's giveaway as well. So we just pour a glass of Mac for myself. So the offer that we've got, anyone that buys a bottle of the Moment Prestige, one of the drams that we're trying tonight, they'll receive 40% discount on a core range bottle. So buy a core range at the same time, you get 40% off. You can do that by visiting mackmyra.co.uk and entering the code Valentines40 upon checkout. And that's it. Yeah, so 40% off a core range if you buy a bottle of Moment Prestige. And the giveaway, we're doing a giveaway. We thought we'd do something a little different to how the giveaways we've done before. So we thought it'd be a nice idea for any couples that might be watching tonight, or someone that might have been gifted this pack from a loved one. Perhaps you can find a way of spreading the love back. So a memento for this hello Tamara, for this momentous evening, as they always are. So we'll be giving away a pair of t-shirts towards the end of the show, so that from this year, every year from this year on, you can pop them on and remember how good an evening you had. There we go. That's Mickey when he had a tan and used to paint his nails. So you can pop those on once a year from now on, and a little memento, as I said, to be in with a chance of winning that. Anyone that's joining us this evening, all you need to do is share a picture with us on social media. So hello Jess as well. So if you use the hashtag #LoveMackmyra and tweet or Instagram or share on Facebook a picture, it could be of you and your loved one, or a picture that something that makes you happy around Valentine's Day, or just something that has a special place in your heart. Share a picture with us, tag us in, or use the hashtag #LoveMackmyra. And towards the end of the show, Mickey and I will decide who we think is most worthy of a pair of t-shirts to go out to them as well. Yeah, so that's it for what we have, I think, for everyone.
Awesome, mate. Sounds good. So guys, get your most lovey-dovey photo up, bang the hashtag #LoveMackmyra on it. And yeah, see if you can be with a chance. We'll all have a wee nice judging in the door of them near the end of the show. We won't take the mick out of you, I promise. Ladies and gentlemen, for that, saying hello, thank you very much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure. Please keep interacting with us. We do enjoy it when you do that. So if anyone's got any shout outs as well, or messages for their loved ones tonight, pop them in the comments, and Carl will flash them up. Or you can use the hashtag #LoveMackmyra, and we'll give it a bash and try and read them out. So the order for this evening, obviously, we're starting on the Mac, which you should have started already. We'll follow that with the Brooks and the Sphinx. Yeah, just a quick wash over them, nothing too in depth. And then we're going to finish off with a nice, really easy to make and easy to drink cocktail. We're going to call it Shane, because our boss Shane suggested we do this one. So we thought, yeah, sure, we'll go for it. We didn't know the name of it, so we're going to call it the Shane. All right, so we're not after pay rises. Well, obviously we always are. So naming the cocktail after our boss is just coincidental, a bit of fun more than anything else, really. So Rich, can you take us through the map, please, good sir?
Yeah, perfect. Well, I'll say skull to anyone that's got on board as well. We knit. I like it when we start on the drams early, Mick, and we don't have these big lengthy intros. So I thought I'd just get a sip in, take advantage of it. So Mackmyra, it started 1998. Our founders decided to pursue their dreams and create the first Swedish single malt whiskey, and we make it our own way. We make it in a Swedish way, Swedish processes that we'll talk about when we reach certain drams, and always using local ingredients, all Swedish and all from a very close proximity to the distillery itself. I think, as a brand, as a distillery, always striving to evolve, to innovate, always, looking to do something new, something exciting, something that we think will be good and well received, but trying to do things our own way and not just be a copy of any sort of famous country that produces their own whiskey. And the results put us on the map, the international whiskey map, and the Mac is our first whiskey that's ever been completely produced at our Gravity distillery as well, so that we might have a picture of the Mac to show. But yeah, we started producing in the Gravity distillery in 2012 after being in a series of sheds and a different distillery when we started, and now we're in our forever home. And this is the product of that Gravity distillery that you can see there. So 7 stories tall, 35 meters up. All the barley, the malted barley, goes to the second top floor, works its way down one floor after another, harnessing gravity instead of using lots of energy to pump things from one room to the other in a traditional horizontal fashion from a normal sort of distillery. So and that's helped us win an award, Mick. I think might be worth talking about as well. So
we won 2 awards last week, Rich, or the beginning of this week. Yeah, beginning of this week. Or back into last week,
give or take, yeah.
Within the last 7 days. Anyway.
They all merge into one, I think, Mick, days at the moment for me and most people watching. I assume it's hard to keep track. But yeah,
certainly is. But no, we were very honoured to win the Whisky Magazine Icons of Whisky Rest of the World category Distiller of the Year. So a company that really puts its all into its product and its people as well, and its and the way it conducts its business. And we also won Sustainable Distillery of the Year as well for our great work with the Gravity Distillery, basically, and using all our local ingredients and our biofuels, which we talk about in more depth in other tastings and stuff like that as well, guys. So please check the back catalogue on YouTube and on our Facebook for some of our more monthly in-depth tastings, and we cover a bit more. We go to a bit more depth on that one.
So yeah, so this is the Mac. Oh, and one thing I'll say about the sustainability side as well. Anyone that does buy a bottle tonight, as I mentioned about that discount earlier on, mackmyra.co.uk, you'll see everything turns up. It's all cardboard packaging. There's no, plastic. It's not something that we use. You can opt for recycled packaging, recycled cardboard, and all of the padding inside is sort of like shredded cardboard as well. So sustainable, even down to that sort of detail as well, which I think goes a long way when getting an award like that. But the Mac itself, so the Mac, we consider an artisanal sort of single malt. So it's only made from Swedish ingredients. Something that Mick and I, and actually our cocktail expert colleagues as well, consider to be a very versatile whiskey. So something that it can be enjoyed, great in cocktails, neat on its own, as I'm doing this evening. Straight on the rocks. It's got a bit of a bourbon sort of sweetness vibe to it, because the only casks we use, are American oak casks, which is obviously what they use when producing bourbon. So lots of vanillas and caramels and that sort of sweetness coming into it. So if you like a bourbon on the rocks, I don't see any problem whatsoever with popping an ice cube or two into a Mac, just to see if that floats your boat. Yeah, I think. But it's designed to be that way. It was when the whiskey was put. I think I'm not sure if I've frozen or you have, Mick. That might have been a bit of lag on my end.
I think we're back. We'll
style it out. Yeah. But yeah, just it was designed to be a versatile whiskey. It was designed to be something that would work well behind a bar, and mixologists could do something with it, and lots of flavour in there. But then also something that would be could stand up and had enough sort of robustness to it to be had neat, as you were. Yeah. And for me, that's orchard fruits. It's our spirit character sort of shining through, but with the added sweetness that comes with American oak casks. So orchard fruits like pear, a little bit of red apple maybe for me, some citrus perhaps. Yeah, like a dull sort of citrus, nothing too sharp. Nothing sort of not like fresh lemon or anything, but like a dull sort of citrus note. And definitely vanilla and like caramel, maybe a hint of butterscotch, but more on the caramel, sort of thick, viscousy side to me. And that's just on the nose, yeah. Mick, you and I aren't sommeliers by any stretch of the imagination, but we can find the occasional note, of course.
It's certainly not a word used to describe us very often, Rich. That's for sure.
But, what do you find? Because I know that you can pull
a lot of that. It's nice. It's quite fresh. I do get a touch of an oily note in there on the palate, which is quite strange for a whiskey down at 40%. But that just goes to show it has got a good depth of flavour about it as well. And yeah, so when I smell it, it makes me want to taste it, and then when I taste it, it makes me want to drink some more of it. So for me, that ticks the boxes for me for an enjoyable whiskey. When I smell it, it's been quite a bit of a while spending some whiskies and that sometimes, especially when it's the first time that you've had them and you're getting into it a bit more. I do like to take my time, but also at the same point, the main thing for me is, does it smell good? Does it invite me in to want to taste it? And then when I taste it, I could play it through my mouth for a good couple of seconds and give it a good chewing over, make sure it's getting everywhere. And then, do I want to try some more of it? Do I want another dram of it? Would I buy a bottle of it? That's the things that I'm looking for. I don't tend to go, I'm looking for serum notes and apples and pears and fisherman's wellies and all that sort of good stuff. Like some people do like that, and that's fine as well. If you have got a big developed palate and you like exploring that kind of stuff, then brilliant. I'll listen to you all day long. Not a problem.
Well, I think the very base of it, what you're saying, what boxes does it tick? If it doesn't tick those fundamentals, do you want to drink more of it? Would you buy a bottle of it? Then it doesn't matter what you do or don't find in there. And if you do want to drink more of it, if you do want to buy another bottle of it, it still doesn't really matter whether or not you find anything to do with the tasting notes that someone, I've just presented my thoughts on it, or someone could read the packaging of any whiskey and the ones that list tasting notes anyway. And you might not be able to find anything on there. I can't tell you, in my earlier days before I started managing my expectations of that, how many times I tried a whiskey and thought, doesn't taste anything like what they've put on the box. But it is utterly irrelevant if you actually like it and you want to go back.
It's subjective as well.
Yeah, of course.
If someone comes up with a tasting note, baked apple tart tatin, right? If you've never tried a baked apple tart tatin, then you're not going to know what that tastes like. So how can you then say, oh yeah, I get that, when you don't have that reference material? So tasting notes, guys, and I can't express this enough, can be as lovey-dovey as you want, really. And as Tracy, fruity, vanilla, and pear with a hint of spice, yeah.
I'll buy that. I'd agree with that.
Nobody can tell you you're wrong either.
I was going to say, Mick, I was going to ask you, are there any wrong answers when somebody comes up with a note?
Oh, I would question your sanity though if you were to try a dram like this and you start saying about like heavy smoke and char and stuff like that. I would maybe think you might need to blow your nose or something. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe not have it straight after you've been sitting on a bonfire for a couple of hours. But no, apart from that, as long as it's fairly relevant to the makeup, and that's it's subjective. It's your own personal opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and if you do get smoked kippers on a light malt like this, then okay, cool.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, on that note, we'd encourage anyone as the evening goes on and the tasting goes on, just to as Tracy's done for us already, pop your whatever notes you do find in the comments. Let us know. But let us know what you do find. You see, we often hear there's quite a few things that tend to come up on most of the tastings that we do, and then sometimes people throw a few notes in there that even make Mick and I pause and think, and actually maybe that is maybe we find that. But yeah,
I love when that happens.
Yeah, so please do as much as you feel like you want to, but we'd encourage you to, because it makes it better for us to have something to have a look at and see what people are finding and see what they're experiencing as we go.
Definitely. So guys, I hope you're all doing your getting your lovey-dovey pictures up, whether it's you and your partner, or you and your dog, you and your cat, you and your snake, whatever. I'm sure if Cole fishes through my Facebook, you'll find lots of me with a lot of my own snakes and stuff like that. So we definitely don't hold or judge. You know what I mean? You love what you love at the end of the day. So so don't forget, guys, you'll be up for a prize of winning 2 T-shirts for yourself and your partner. So hopefully it's not you and your snake or you and your dog, because I don't know, I think your dog would look pretty cool in a Mackmyra T-shirt.
I'd take a picture of someone and their dog celebrating Valentine's Day, or today, and their cat, or whatever brings a bit of love into your life. Share a picture of that. It's absolutely not exclusively for couples. Yeah. So Rob, caramel, bananas, delicious notes. Bananas is a good one. I think that's something that we often hear with this.
Yeah.
I get that in spades on the next one, on the Brooks. That's for sure. But that's our spirit character there. So that's a combination Rob's finding there. Caramel, largely, if not all, coming from the casks that we've used, the American oak casks. And then bananas being part of our spirit character, the new make spirit that we have, sort of fruity, warm spices, and a bit of herbaceous sort of vibe to it, some notes to it as well.
Definitely, Rich, definitely. So you're getting on with that, Glenn?
We do a lot of these tastings, you and I, Mick, and I haven't got bored of drinking any of these yet, I'll say, because the amount that we do as well, a couple of times a week it might be, on average, at least once. I just enjoy it. Like you said earlier, do you enjoy it? Do you want to go back for another one? I just do. Nice one to start on. Soft, it's approachable, but it's not too easy. I think this, to me, the big thing is it's got some texture to it for something that's only 40% ABV. Which the lowest ABV you can have for something to be a whiskey. Quite often, you can find 40% whiskies. More often than not, they feel a bit thin on the palate to me. Not always,
they can do.
But quite often, I think. I think the texture that comes most likely again from the the cask that we've used. There's sort of a few tannins and things in there, and it's just a bit of good. There's a mouthfeel to it that I enjoy. I'll say.
Yes. No, definitely. That's why it's quite a good versatile malt as well. That's why it's good as your base spirit in a cocktail and things like that, because it will stand up to some extra ingredients good in there to make it a long drink, or or to mix with other drinks to bring out some of them flavors and stuff. That a good one I quite like to do with Mac would be a nice apple and pear. There's a fizzy juice from M&S, and they do a fizzy apple and pear juice, which is fantastic. That's quite nice with it. Nice highball glass over some ice. Top up with that. Job done. Nice, cool, relaxing, refreshing. The word I was looking for.
Yeah, nice. Well, I think that might be a good moment to move over into the Brooks. I'm hearing a bit of feedback. It's one of our microphones sort of looping back a bit. I don't know if you're experiencing that, Mick. Hopefully, it's not.
No, I don't.
We'll see. Well, let's move on. Let's move on to the Brooks and hope that it goes away. I'm hearing it. Hopefully, people watching it at home aren't. Yeah.
So, guys, next up is the Brooks. So let's get one of these poured before we start talking about it. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, you don't want to get halfway through it and realise you haven't got a glass to have yourself.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. So, Mackmyra Brooks whiskey. It's quite a balanced character, and you know we're getting those fruits through the Scotch.
Mick, I think you're having. I think you're bugging out. I might just take over for a moment. I think.
Yeah, go for it. Rick.
If you've got perhaps a way we can have a quick
go for it. Let me
reset or something. Yeah. So I'm not sure how far you got into that there, Mick. So I'll just sort of take over and say. So this is a whiskey that we describe as we don't encourage necessarily, but describe as our breakfast whiskey. Something that if you did have cause for celebration on a certain day, be it the 14th of February or off to the when we were allowed to go off to the races or whatever it might have been, if you've got reason for it, it's the sort of thing you probably could have towards the earlier part of your day, and it wouldn't do too much damage. You wouldn't need a nap perhaps come lunchtime. So this is, whereas the Mac was talking about some of those sort of like darker, richer sweets, like caramels and things in there. This is more on the light and bright side of things, sort of fresh. So I think it might have been Rob, if I'm recalling correctly, had found bananas on the previous one. For me, this one, lots of bananas, some apples and things in there as well. But on the banana side, it's more like a foam banana penny sweets. And that's what we'll say. Mick, are we back in business?
Right in on cue as well to my actual favourite tasting note for Brooks, Rich.
Perfect. Well, over to you. I managed to tread water, I think, for the moment there.
Do you know what I mean? That is the big, like we said already. I'm not a big one for trying to pick out individual characteristics, but this one to me screams foam bananas. So I'm glad I managed to come back in when you mentioned foam bananas.
I'm sure you'd have said it anyway.
But no, so to get those depth of flavours, we use quite a veritable smorgasbord of casks to achieve this flavour profile. You like that? Keep it Swedish, keeping it Swedish. So we use 200 litre first fill bourbon casks. That the liquid inside them has been aged for approximately 5 years, and we take that and we take liquid from 100 litre Swedish oak casks as well of a first fill quality, 100 litre sherry casks. So being 100 litres, guys, like half casks essentially. You're going to get that more of a wood contact, that bigger impact, especially with strong flavours like Swedish oak and the sherry casks as well. And they're also a first fill quality. And we use 200 litre ex-bourbon casks that have got a little bit of what we call our peat tail in there. So if you are picking up a tiny bit of smoke on this, that's because a couple of the ex-bourbon casks that we used were from our peat tail. And we've discussed peat tails of that before on previous shows, but basically traditional distilleries will scrub their equipment down and wash it through and everything like that after they've done a peated run to get rid of all traces of peat. What we do is we flush through with our non-peated spirit, so our elegant recipe spirit. And what that allows us to do is to take some more ingredients away, basically. So we've got some peated stuff, some very, very lightly peated stuff, and then non-peated stuff. And with that, our chief nose officer, Angela Dorazio, she can play various tunes to get exactly what she wants. The more weapons you've got in your armory, the better a war you can fight. Essentially, sorry, that sounds a bit gruesome, but put it to a chef context. The better and more diverse your ingredients for making a dish, then the better and more diverse that dish will be. So it carries over into how we put together, all of our lines really.
Yeah, balance being key. Mickey, for the layman out there, what would peated be in a word? What would another word for peated?
Smoky.
Smoky. There we go. Yeah. So for anyone that is perhaps has been strong armed by their other half into joining them for a tasting this evening, and didn't know what a peated whiskey was. Yeah, smoky whiskey. For any newbies we have out there. Everyone is welcome, and anything that Mick and I do say tonight, if you don't follow any part of it, just write a comment and let us know, because we're always excited to have people at toward the start of their journey or wherever they may be on that journey as well. So ask any question that you're curious about as we go. I don't know if Mick is Mick having an extremely long drink, or if we lost him again. Is he perhaps? I think maybe we have lost him. I think if it's going to be me, I'm sorry about this, guys, tonight. This is, I guess, the 10th must be busy for lots of people getting ready for Valentine's, having consultations with people about what they should get. So maybe, Carl, if we could go to some comments, if there's any comments that have come up, we can have a look at some and see if we can interact with some people out there. I think, so from Kim, hello, Kim. So what was the reason for the dimples on the bottom of the bottles again? Can't remember from the Burns night tasting. Well, great to have you back from the Burns night. That was a really good one as well. I think I was the only person that messed up my portion of the poem reading. So the 8 dimples on the bottom of the bottle, which I'll hopefully demonstrate there without too much blur or focus, so we can see some of them go around here. So around the ring, see them shining. They are to represent the 8 founders, of Mackmyra. So we mentioned earlier, 1998 was when the idea came about. 8 founders, 8 friends, been friends at university, all studying various disciplines of engineering together. Went on skiing trips every year, and one fateful year, hello Mick, they went away and had some whiskey with them, and said, why on earth is nobody making? Why is no one producing, whiskey in Sweden? There's enough people, drinking it. There's good appetite for it. Scotch in particular being very popular. And they went about, making it, as I said, in 99 is when they started. So 8 founders, 8 dimples. And I think even on our 50 CL bottles for the Spence Brook at the end, and our single car stuff, Mick has got the 8 dimples on it as well. And it's just, I think it's good for decoration, but it's got a story too, which I think is always great. Sorry, you were saying.
The only bottles that don't have it are Mac and Lab gin. All of our other bottles, Moments bottles, Creator gin bottles, 50 CL bottles have the dimples on. Oh,
Caroline, nice. Yeah, good shout. Not a bad way to start your day. I don't think it's going to replace milk in cereal anytime soon, but maybe on the side, perhaps. Again, drink responsibly, but if you've got a good reason to have a Brooks whiskey in the morning, we're not going to dissuade you from it. So Derek, yeah, first Mackmyra that he tried. For him, the essence of what Mackmyra is about. I would say that's probably on point. I think that and Svensk Ek, the sort of 2 flagship whiskies from the core range, I'd say. 2 of the best ones about for showcasing, our style, I guess, our house style. And then sort of building from there with various other releases we've had.
Tracy's on form this evening, isn't she, Rich?
I think so. Really good with notes. Yeah. So apples, Werther's originals,
and licorice. I like it.
Definitely. So licorice, I think might be in the official tasting notes. I'm not sure that I've ever managed to pull out licorice from it. I think there might be 1 or 2 times in the past year.
Personally, I don't get it.
Well, I think I heard enough of that sentence to know you say that you don't get it. Licorice in there. I'm not sure. I think sometimes in the past I found it here and there, but I don't know if I'm just mixing my memory up with other whiskies I've tried. It's like depending on what you've eaten that day, or the mood that you're in, or how hydrated you are, can help you pick up on different things you might not have before. Some of the more subtle ones, but I like hearing Werther's originals in that. I definitely like a sort of milky caramel sort of toffee thing. That I think goes. It's not something that I don't think we've had Werther's originals said before, but I can definitely get where Tracy would be, finding that, if you can put that name to it. I'd agree. There's enough parts in there that mixed together would make that flavour. So definitely. Andrew as well. So hello again, Andrew. Thanks for joining us again. So, Andrew likes it a lot. Wife just asked why he's doing another tasting again online. Why didn't you invite your wife? It's on Valentine's special, Andrew. Yeah, all the more for you, I suppose. You can make it up to her on the 14th, I suppose. It's not a bad shout, yeah. But cheers anyway, Scott. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Kim. Yeah. Oh, Mick, should we see?
Like I was saying, Brooks is really quite a really good one.
Oh, sorry, Mick. Mick, I think we're struggling.
I'm waiting for you.
Oh no, I think we might have to look at doing a hard reset, Mick, perhaps, or something. Just go and pull all the wires out of the router and plug them back in, because I think we've tried a few times, and it's I think everyone wants to hear from you, mate. They don't just want to hear from me tonight. I'm sure of that. Always do better there. Oh, is this Carl coming in on the audio?
Yeah, I'll dive in for the audio for you, buddy. How you getting on?
I feel thank you for coming to save my hero on Valentine's special as well. Much appreciated, Carl. So, just to introduce who this voice, this faceless voice is over here is Carl Beach. He's mine and Micky's friend and colleague, fellow ambassador, who is very good at the technical stuff, as we call it. So he produces the shows for us. So thank you, Carl, for stepping in.
Yeah, no worries, brother. No worries. Yeah, I think Mickey's going to do a little reset and then he'll be back with us. So bear with us. Yeah. Bear with us, people. I am not a cat, Caroline. No. If I'd been smart enough, I'd have set that filter up, actually, and I would have done that. That would have been really good timing for that. I don't know if you've seen that today. But
can we see? Have you popped Mac up? Can we have Mac and Mac again? I think you might have shown it earlier. We might have just talked over it.
Mac and Mac.
So this is Mac. This is Carl's cat. Not that you can ever truly own a cat, of course, but yeah, Mac and Mac, and Mac appears in a lot of our team meetings as well of a Monday morning. Not the whiskey, not on the Monday morning one anyway, but the cat itself to come and say hello. Carl, Kim, you flashed a question up from Kim, but I don't think we addressed it because we're having problems with Mick's connection. Do you think?
I think we covered it over, didn't we? Also the cork with it.
About the cork, yeah, that's it. That was the one. Thank you. So, so Kim, and to everyone else, so on our all of our bottle stoppers on the corks, we've got this little symbol, which is, and you can see it around the edge of the foil here as well, of the capsule. That symbol is, well, it looks. I'll tell you what. Why don't some people write in and let us know what you think that symbol is? It's Mackmyra's logo. I'll tell you that much. Perhaps we can have a few people, have a guess or two, and once we've had a few people have a go, I'll do the big reveal for it, and I'll be shocked if anyone actually gets it, to be honest, which is why I like to tease and see if anyone.
I'm actually not sure what it. I can't think what it means actually right now myself. So
okay, right. Well,
me.
Well, yeah, I suppose that makes you eligible to enter, Carl, if you want to write any comments in and let us know what you think. But yeah, right. So Brooks Whisky, Carl, have you got a Brooks Whisky in front of you? What do you think?
I think we've got our Mickey back with us now, mate. So I'm going to dive off into the background and bring him back up for you.
Thank you. Well, hopefully, don't take this the wrong way, Carl. Hopefully, we don't see you again tonight. Yeah. But if we need to, then thank you. Yeah.
No worries. I'm always here. Mickey, you good?
What an actual murder this today turning out to be. Normally flawless. Obviously, the broadband company are not loving me at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
No. So, well, you're looking crisp, Mick. I'll say that much. You're looking on point.
Actually, guys, really sorry about that, but we've only been at this for like a year. So, give us a break.
The only of 150 shows or whatever we've done over since during lockdown and tasting, I think the only time we've had problems that bad with your connection happened to be on the technology special we did about the AI whiskey.
I know. So, that was brutal. That was brutal. But no, Brooks, I take it when I was off air, did we cover did we have an answer for the logo?
No, so we've got a few people coming in with it. I think maybe if we have one or two more people, or when we get to the Svensek, we'll see. Candle, that's not a bad shout, but it's not a candle. Glencairn, an upside down Glencairn is something we hear quite often. So it is that way up would be the symbol, but that does look like a Glencairn to me, arguably. But so a good guess, Nick, but unfortunately not correct. And no, not a person either, Kim. we'll say, should we tell people now? That's three guesses.
No, do you know what we'll do, Rich? Do you know what we'll do, right? We'll let some people have guesses, right? And either the funniest or the one who gets it right near the end of the show, we'll give them a bar blade. How about that?
Yeah, cool. That sounds good to me.
Because I quite like doing this, because we tend to do this on a few tastings, and people try and guess it. So I don't want to be open. You know, we've done enough now that enough people know what it is. But if you've entered before, can't enter again. I'll recognise your name. Good memories like that. But
well, anyway. Say Mick. Mick, so if we do the bar blade, so anyone that, as Mick said, anyone that guesses right or guesses funniest without being too sort of ludicrous, I suppose. The wittiest one maybe we'll give a branded bar blade away to, which is not actually a blade per se, is it? It's more of a bottle opener, perhaps.
It's a bottle opener you can swing on your finger. It's a long.
That's
thing.
it.
There you go.
We'll give one of those to the best or most accurate guess. But to up the ante on the original competition that we're going to do for the t-shirts, I think we're off just to sort of try and get more people getting involved in it. We'll up the ante and offer a bottle of Mack as well as a pair of t-shirts. So that sounds good.
You can sit and enjoy a bottle of Mack together while wearing your t-shirts. I like that. I like that.
So perfect. So yeah. So anyone tweet a picture to us, tweet it, put it on Facebook and tag us in, or the hashtag Love Mackmyra, and a free bottle of whiskey and a pair of t-shirts for you to use. So yeah, perfect. So I think on that note, Mick,
I think we'll move over to the.
Oh, there we go. So this is the sort of thing we're talking about. It doesn't have to be a couple. It can just be something that is full of love or makes you happy, just like these two characters here. And there's Mick. Mick and who's your lovely partner, Mick?
That would be Angela.
So Mick and Angela there. And that's myself and my fiance Heather. That's where we got engaged on the Isle of Mull, October last year. So on this island here by the beach, on top of that, it's called Tarb Island or something. It's Tup Island, it translates to. In the background, you can see the three paps of Jura, and off to the right-hand side, you can see Collinsey and Isla there. So it was the one bit of sun that was there for I think the whole 5 days.
Right, there's our
and there's a lovely one of Carl as well. Yeah. So perfect. So this is the sort of magic that we're after, everyone. Any pictures that you do have. Oh, and then Connor. There's another colleague of ours. Yeah. So a bottle of whiskey, 2 t-shirts. Just share something that makes you happy. I'd say that. And let's move into the Svensk Ek. Oh, that's a great shot. That's a lovely shot, that one. But yeah, time for the Svensk Ek, Mick. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Do you want to take this one?
I was just about to say, Rich, you've had to carry me a little bit. Do you want me to take over for a touch of a spell?
Oh yeah, go on. You start things off, and then I'll just jump in and heckle every now and then.
No worries, mate. So Svensk Ek, guys, is our probably what we would call our flagship. You know what I mean? If we were going to put one out there to say, choose one from, to sum up Mackmyra, it would probably have to be Svensk Ek. So it's got a spicy character, giving notes of like sandalwood, dried ginger, black pepper, roasted oak and herbs. The spicy aromas that come from aging in casks of Swedish oak, basically. So they're complemented by fruity undertones with hints of vanilla, toffee, caramel, and honey. So 10% of the bottle's contents was aged in casks of Swedish oak for approximately 18 months. So we only used casks of ex-bourbon to majority mature the whiskey. And then we took 10% of that liquid and we bashed it into Swedish oak, basically, for 18 months. So yeah, what does Swedish oak give us? Well, it's come from ex-bourbon, so you're going to get, some of that ex-bourbon tones in there, the vanillas, the toffees, the caramels, and the honeys, because most of the liquid did come from ex-bourbon. But you're going to find things like the sandalwood in some some white pepper and slightly spicier notes coming in that you wouldn't associate with American oak. And that's the influence of the Swedish oak, basically. It's got a lot less wood sugars. Swedish oak's got a lot less wood sugars in it than American oak does. That's why you get more peppery, like nutty notes from it, Rich, basically.
I think that influence from the Swedish oak, balancing the sort of the lighter, fresher, sort of fruity, warm spices that we get from our spirit character from the first tune. I think we're talking about the Brooks being a great way of showcasing sort of who we are, what we're about. This is we would call it our sort of signature flagship one, because it's got the Swedish oak involved, and we like things to be Swedish as possible. So you've got some of those sweet side, you can find that sweetness in there, and I think especially with a drop or two of water, it brings out some of that sweetness for me.
It does open it right up.
Yeah, around it as well. So you can find those sweet flavors, but they're sort of balanced and integrated in with some of those heavier notes that you talked about, some of those spicy spices, a bit of ginger, roasted oak as well, toasted oak, that sort of thing. And that is it. So yeah, from having just 10% of this whiskey, having spent a small amount of time in Swedish oak casks, you get all of this robustness just sort of thrust into it. I talked about the Mac at the beginning. You and I quite appreciate the texture that you get with that. And that compared to the Brooks whiskey has got some texture to it, but it's not the same way. It's not the same mouthfeel as the Mac and the Sventek. And the texture of this, I think, is even richer, sort of more mouth coating than the Mac is. And that's some of that Swedish oak, the higher tannins. You've got higher tannins, fewer sugars, wood sugars in there, and just that sort of that feel. Just it coats the mouth. I'd say. Yes. 46.1% ABV.
So we've taken a big jump up. So obviously, Mac was 40%. Brooks whiskey is 41.4%. And this is so. Another reason this is probably our champion, as it were, is that it carries the distillery's preferred ABV at 46.1%.
Yeah, that's we find most of our range, right? That's there's 2 or 3 bottles perhaps. Well, some of the moments might dip a little bit low, but they'll end up being sort of natural cask strength half the time.
Yeah, but that's because exactly, Rich. That's because some of the the top range casks that we use for that have been a bit older, and obviously being down the mine, that ABV drops that a little bit lower than we would necessarily like. But with that, comes the more rounder flavors, etc.
I find Mick and I, everyone can see, got a few bottles of whiskey behind ourselves. I like whiskies that quite high ABVs, because you can play around with them a little bit, and you can sort of tweak and tailor them to yourself. So, but I think an important part of my journey was discovering that just because something is in the lower end of the 40s doesn't mean that it's not going to have that complexity. It doesn't mean it's not going to have that mouthfeel to it at all. It really, really does not. I can't emphasize it enough. And I think with the moments, they showcase that fact quite well, and especially some of the single cask releases that we've tried. Of some of the 30-litre casks in particular, where they can dip down to 42, 43%. And that'll be natural cask strength, not diluted once it's come out, but they still have a big punch to give, a lot there to offer. Yeah. So what about tasting notes on this? We've mentioned a couple of ours, so we could see perhaps any of the comments that we've got, Carl, and see what we've got. So Kim again, so spicy, sweet, pepper, and faint smoke. Yeah. So with the faint smoke on that one, that will be because you'll have, if you can find a smoky flavour within a whiskey, really it's coming from sort of 2 different sources. Perhaps it'll either be the malted barley having been peated, or it'll be the inside of the casks having been toasted or charred. The charred ones really give you that smoke flavour. Our Swedish oak casks are heavily charred, so I think almost the top level charring that you can get. So smoke that you can find there doesn't come from a smoky whiskey. It doesn't come from smoky liquid. It comes from the cask giving a sort of a hint of smoke, then into the liquid rather than starting. What we can see here is the inside of a Swedish oak cask end. So it's a gravity cask. So they're ex-bourbon staves with a Swedish oak end, and you can see that we've charred the end of that, carved in this pattern. That's to increase getting geeky, but that's to increase the surface area to liquid ratio, so that there's more, to encourage more interaction with the spirit and the wood itself to get it moving in and out of that wood as much as possible, and taking some of the characteristics from, leaving some behind. So that's what the inside of it would look like. And here is a Swedish oak cask. This is Mick's favourite picture of any picture we have. You love that one. I do too, I have to say. But yeah, so that's David Anderson. He is our cooper, or he coopers our casks for us over in Sweden. That's him charring the inside of a Swedish oak cask. So if you go over to America, where they have to use virgin wood for their bourbon, they char the inside. It has to be charred as well. They have, I don't want to sort of detract from anything by saying mass produced, but they have mass produced. They have to make so much of it. They've got facilities where they'll be charring the inside of a car, 5 casks at a time, putting the flames out. Those 5 casks go off, another 5 roll on, flames go inside, chars it and off. Whereas David makes 1 cask at a time, and then sets fire to the inside of that cask, and then runs around with it for 30 seconds, looking cool, having pictures taken of him. But that's it. So that's a sort of like the amount of hand work that goes into to making our whiskies as well. Winter berries, yep. Definitely a pepper, hint of dark chocolate. Did you say dark chocolate earlier, Mick?
I didn't, but I was about to say again. Tracy's literally. Tracy, yeah. I'm going to think you're cheating and looking up our official tasting notes.
I don't think so.
Because you're hitting the mark there, pal. Well done.
Not that word was originals one. That's certainly not in there. Yeah, but the dark chocolate. If it had been me presenting this whiskey, I'd have said dark chocolate if I'd been doing your part, Mick, because I always find dark chocolate in there. And we talk about bitterness, any bitter properties that come with Swedish oak compared to American oak's sweetness. I often use dark chocolate as a way of sort of just a way of saying bitter doesn't mean bad or not something you want. It adds balance and things to it. And dark chocolate is more bitter than milk chocolate.
Yeah. So
bitter doesn't mean horrible. But it means sort of just not sweet, basically. I mean, a lot of people probably know that already, teaching people how to suck eggs, of course. But tingly lips, yeah, that's a great one. Mick, you always say tingly lips with this, don't you? Yeah.
It's that white pepper I get at the front. I like it.
Yeah, enjoy the finish of a neck, hint of spicy chili, I like that. Yeah. There was one note that I was talking and didn't get to say. Was that from Caroline? Said something, yeah. So slightly bolder, yeah, okay. Yeah, this is more robust. Certainly is than the previous 2. But first, the rook. Well, we've got the cocktail that we're doing at the end involving that. It'd be a nice way, perhaps, for Caroline to see other ways of enjoying the rook at the end. Yeah, just gonna have another little sip and wet my whistle, mate. I think we're up to 5 entries in the competition now, so I think dangling that bottle of whiskey in front of everyone is awoken a few people, yeah.
Good. It's working for people.
Unless those 5 entries are just the pictures that we showed of our team. And
so on that note, just remember, guys, share it on social media. So tweet it or on Instagram or on Facebook with the hashtag #LoveMackmyra to be in with a chance of winning a pair of Mackmyra t-shirts and a bottle of Mac. And don't forget, as well, as a cheeky wee side competition for individuals to win a bar blade, all you have to tell us is, well, what this is. What does that symbol mean? What does it represent? So that's the symbol for Mackmyra, but we've chosen it from something. So what is that? What is that symbol of?
Should we let that one?
It's like a ghost, a Glencairn glass, a person.
Yeah. I've seen the one that I think I'd like to give the bar blade to, but should we let that one run until the end of the next dram before we move to the cocktail, and then so we'll give it anyone else that wants to have a go, have a bash at guessing what that logo is, and they'll get a bar blade out of it. Again, I've seen a clear front runner for me, I have to say. It struck the right sort of notes with me, but maybe time to move on. Unless we've got any other comments that have come in or notes or anything, I'm going to just finish mine off slowly and see what happens. Skull. Yeah.
Skull. So how are we all enjoying the dram so far, guys? So we're 3 drams in. We're about to go to our 4th dram. What's your favourite so far at the first 3? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know your favourite. And if you've got any Valentine shout-outs that you want to do,
yeah,
please do. No, well, I think usually the shout outs usually start after we get to dram 3, dram 4. That's when they start. That's when they start coming in. If they do, but yeah, feel free. We'll give you a little shout out if you fancy. Yeah. So I'm thinking. Oh, and just as a quick reminder, a corporate thing halfway through. Please drink responsibly. You don't have to drink all 50 ml of your samples. If you don't, well, you don't have to as a challenge. I'm saying, and I'd almost advise you to leave a little bit in there that you can then revisit and come back to. You know, as we progress through these other drams and the cocktails at the end, just you can work out. You know, how much do you like it? Do you still like it as much as you did at the beginning? That sort of thing. Yeah, if you are having the whole 50 ml, you know, good on you. Make sure that you have lots of water and keep hydrated. And it's probably a good time to have a glass or a good mouthful of water now, just to rinse one's palate before moving in to the next dram, because it's a bit more of a delicate dram perhaps than the Svensk. Not so much so, but I think it's worth having a little bit of water in between. So cheers.
No, most definitely, great idea. So the reason we mentioned the water, guys, we're going to turn the sophistication up to about 11 now, and we're going to, you know, our next dram it's got some quite delicate notes in it. The reason we didn't put it first was because it's got a completely different mouthfeel and a different kind of overall feel to it, really. So, you know, a nice drink of water now, plus keeps us hydrated as well. We are 3 drams down. We do like to promote responsible drinking where we can. You know, we kid on about a breakfast whiskey and stuff like that, but you're hopefully all grown adults here, so you should know it. You should know what you're up to.
So what are we doing? What is it next? Yeah. Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, you go. I think we talked at the same time then. I don't think we. Yeah. After you.
There today, the well-oiled machine is not happening today, is it? Do you know what I mean? Honestly, but no, guys. So yeah, so have a nice drink of water. If you're using a 1 glass, give that a quick rinse out. And then, yeah, Rich, would you like to take us through our very posh dram? In fact, it's probably the poshest of our posh drams, in all fairness.
I think, well, poshest, I like the sophisticated. You said to turn sophistication up to 11 earlier, which I think is a great line. But yeah, I think of all the range that we have, the different ranges, the moment range is the more sophisticated of the 3. And of those, this has got to be, I think, the most sophisticated of those. So I know that Tamara, if Tamara's still with us, has got her own bottle of this at home. So hope she'll be enjoying a dram with us as well. So this is the Mackmyra Moment Prestige. We might have a better picture than what I can show you there to come up. There we go, the Prestige. It's between 11 and 14 years old, and the casks that we use for this have all been previously held champagne, basically. Obviously, champagne doesn't go into casks, but the wine that goes into making champagne with Philipponnat, the very well revered and regarded producer of champagne, the wine that they use to make their champagne with was in these casks before. So predominantly from grapes from Premier and Grand Cru regions and vineyards, which are, you know, the upper echelons of the vineyard game, for want of a better term. And I'm just going to pour myself a dram of this now, because I just want to have a little nose of it while we talk about it. So
you'll notice, guys, as well, that this one's a bit on the darker side. It's got that bit more age to it, being in the first, second, and third fill. What will term ex-champagne casks. We know, right, Richard, champagne happens in the bottle, not in the cask. But just for want of a better word, I would just say Grand Cru and Premier Cru every single time. We'll just chop it down to, you know, champagne casks. Champagne,
yeah. Let's stick at that. And I will just say, I think we should raise a glass, Mick, to Roberta and her husband. So cheers, skull. Many happy returns to you guys. I think that's some achievement. So yeah, cheers to you.
Medals are in the post, guys. Absolutely well done for that. That's a fantastic achievement, by the way. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And the 14th as well, I think it's quite a shrewd move to get married on that. There's no excuse to forget an anniversary that's on the 14th. You've got Oh yeah, Clinton cards will not let you forget that your anniversary is coming up.
Totally.
Yeah, brilliant. So so this whiskey, I think it's not only we were sort of joking a little bit, Mick, about it being, you know, sophisticated, being, you know, champagne and, you know, the moments and things, which I think, you know, a bit of a joke, but also sincere. I think it's probably actually what I think about it. But I think this is also, it has got a sophisticated profile to it.
Oh, without question,
it manages for me, and it's all, you know, we can all experience our, you know, whiskey in our own way, and we do, but it's got a smoothness and a lightness to it, whilst also on the nose, just on the nose as well, whilst also seeming to have a bit of texture and some body to it, and dare I say it, just like quite a graceful, elegant nose, which I think is, you know, perhaps another word or term you can, you know, sophisticated. I think all fits in the same sort of, you know, universe for me.
100% agree, Rich. You know, it's got that slightly darker, more edgier color to it overall. You know, it is quite light yet quite deep-bodied. You know, there's quite a lot going on in there. And like Rich said, you know, this is some of our oldest liquid that's gone into this. You know, and it's been matured wholly in those Philipponnat casks. We've not, you know, it's not gone into finishes or anything like this. This is literally, it's been matured for its whole time in those Philipponnat casks, which is quite frankly phenomenal. We're quite lucky. This one does come in at 46.1, so we have tempered that down a little touch, but not by a lot. And yeah, it's got a good body about it, but still being light. You're getting some like white wine and grapefruit notes. But also a bit bready and toasted oak, so some you know, some lightness with the white wine and the grapefruit, but also a bit more body like and a bit deeper with like the bread and the toasted oak, etc. What do you reckon?
Yeah, no, totally. I'd agree with everything you just said there. That's I'm near the end of my bottle as well, so I think we're going to have to try and arrange some more tastings with this in mix so that we can try and engineer a refill of that, because I just enjoy it. So Shane, who Mickey referenced at the beginning of the show, our boss, who the cocktail was named after. Unless anybody can write in and come up with a different name, perhaps while we're on it, we'll see what happens. But this is Shane's favourite whiskey of ours, of Mackmyra. I remember that when I started a little under 12 months ago, actually, so not before lockdown began.
I had a LinkedIn notification today, Rich.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for 1 year.
Oh, congratulations!
1 year today.
It was 1 year today, Mick. Is it really?
Today.
Oh, well, mine's the 28th of February. So, well, cheers. Sorry, everyone, just to digress, but I'm just going to raise a glass to Mick. I hope that everyone at home follows me and such, and say, well, cheers, Mick. You know, you've obviously been there 2 weeks longer than me, but we're lucky to have you, I'll say. So, cheers to you. Well done. Yeah.
So now being the senior UK brand ambassador. Well, you know, comes with a lot of responsibility, this territory, Rich. Do you know what I mean? Well,
mate, you are. I mean, you're certainly the more senior between. You're closer to a bus pass than me, so I think that's.
Hey, come on, we're supposed to be loving. We're supposed to be loving. You know what I mean? Where's the love in that comment there? So, you know what I mean?
Let's bring the love back. Let's calm it down and bring the love back. But obviously, Tamara's just said cheers to you, Mick, as well. So,
cheers, T.
Yeah, I'll give you another one there. But yeah, let us know if we've got any tasting notes that have come through on this. Can anyone find anything a bit about this? So, Tamara, each sip brings her back to the Blue Mountains. So eucalyptus, apple crumble,
nice.
Vanilla ice cream, white wine, Mary scratch chip. So Blue Mountains to me is Australia.
That's a fantastic story and tasting note, and I won that, T. Thank you very much for that. That's fantastic.
Well, they're my favourite tasting notes, especially when you hear them from other people, but also when you can find them yourself once every now and then. I don't know, you and I try a lot of different drams with 10 different tastings and things, all sorts of different whiskies, but when you find something that can take you back to a time and place and remind you of an experience that you had, or you can, it elicits all these memories of somewhere that you've been, but your granny's kitchen and her cooking for you or something, or as Tamara said, traveling somewhere beautiful and being around and the smells and experiences you get. The yak liquor from the seasonal range, quite a few people that was designed, flavour wise to elicit feelings of being outside in the great Swedish forests and exploring outdoors. And quite often on the tastings we do with it, we hear people say things like, "Oh, pine needles," and and leaves and things like that as well. So I think obviously that does the job that it's set out to do. It can sort of remind people of this experience they've had. So that was great. Thank you very much for that comment, Tamara.
So Tamara actually writes recipes for the Scotch Malt Whisky Society for their German branch.
Right. Okay.
She's got quite a good handle when it comes to like putting it against foods and stuff like that, because that's what she does. That's what she's good at.
Oh well, I didn't know that. Well, that's a great job to have, and I think because I've got, this one box here, it goes back. I think there's about a dozen there, and then spread out across different squares or boxes I've got here, and various other ones. And I always enjoy reading the notes from the Scotch Malt Whisky Society, because even if I don't always find those things in there, they're always entertaining to read. So always there's always some humour in there. So
I've got a bottle, and I'm not going to tell it because it's way before 9 o'clock. But it's an SNWS bottling, and it's got quite the edgy name, shall we say? I only bought it for the name.
Is it named after a song?
No,
no, because there's an "I Like Big."
Yeah, no, it's not that one.
Yeah, no, it's not that one. Okay, yeah,
it's not that one. If you want to look it up, it's bottle 37.108.
It's 37. Is a Cragganmore? Yeah. 108. I'll remember that. We'll talk afterwards. Yeah. We've got another note here from Tracy. So long finish. Yep, I'm a fan of a long finish. Light sponge cake with a hint of lemongrass. Superb. Okay. Lemongrass. I've heard someone say lemongrass before on this.
Yeah, I don't get it, and I quite like Asian food. I don't get the lemongrass, but I definitely get like the light long finish and the sponge cake type thing. Totally agree with you on that one. But Tracy, you've been bang on tonight, so I'm going to go. Yeah, cool. Get the lemongrass at me.
Tracy and tomorrow should probably get together and have a chat about how Tracy could get into. If Tracy, if you're not already being paid to write tasting notes for whiskey companies or to review things, I think perhaps a line of work you should look at getting into. And one from Caroline there as well, saying Caroline really likes this. And I think that, as Mick said at the beginning, that's one of the most important boxes to tick. Forget all the other notes.
That's my favourite tasting note.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. So if you looked at my Excel spreadsheet I've got with all the different whiskies I've tried, or as many as I can have the time to put in, most of my notes are largely just me saying, really like this one, or wasn't too keen on that compared to the other so-and-so distillery that I had, of the same sort of year of vintage or whatever. But it's just more like things that I can read back and remember how I experienced it, rather than me trying to force myself into saying, old boot leather, strawberries, dusty bookshelves, black currants, and whatever it might be. As much as I do like those notes being present in things, I do like this, Mick. I wish we could just do like a tasting where there was just like 5 of these in a row, but I wonder if people would find that as engaging as putting it out.
Well, strangely enough, I've got a tasting at the end of the month on the 26th of February with the Piper Whisky Bar in Glasgow, obviously virtually, and this is Prestige is one of the drams we've got in the tasting.
Great.
I don't know if she's sold out yet or not. If you head over to the Piper Whisky Bar or Piper Whisky Tastings page on Facebook, you'll see the event there. And Gillian will be able to, the lovely Gillian will be able to point you in the right direction. She'll either say, yeah, here's a pack, or no, sorry, mate, sold out. Coming in, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
What else have you got in the pack? Can you remember what else is in the pack?
Oh, Brooks, Eck, Grante, Yak Liquor, Prestige, and Shushbushlook.
Oh, that's a good one, and you said it perfectly.
Thanks,
absolutely perfectly. Shush Barshlook, Cause Bars Rock for any
Cause Bars Rock.
Anyone that reads how they
see it.
Perfect. Well, I think should we do a recap, Mick, just as we're on the moment? Perhaps the offer. What's the offer that we've got?
So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, if you buy a bottle of Prestige from www.mackmyra.co.uk, you will receive 40% off a bottle of our core range. So, just to remind you, our core range is the Mack, the Brooks Whisky, the Svensk Get, and the Svensk Gruk. Okay? And use the code Valentines40 at the checkout, and that will be applied for you guys. So I think that's a. I know we're a bit biased, Rich, but that's a cracking discount, that, isn't it?
That right. So we try very hard not to make these tastings about selling bottles and about turning into like a QVC sales pitch and things. It's more about the experience and talking about the drams stuff. But that is a good deal. Most of the whiskey I buy is based on how good a deal it is, because I buy so much of it that I want to know I'm getting a good deal. Buy a bottle of something you really like and get 40% off of something that you hopefully like just as much. That's not too shabby. Are these some of the pictures that we've had submitted? What are we looking at here, Carl? Can you let us know? I can't read anything, unfortunately, but I can see
really get up close
in a fantastic hat.
Yeah,
so
still in the hat, like the dog is still in the hat.
Well, let's
somebody doing their tasting.
That's a good one. Well, that could be you're buttering us up the right way to something there. We leave, Cole. Let's leave the pictures, I think, until the end, until the cocktail. But if we see some of the comments before we move in to the cocktail, into the sort of the final drink of the evening, if we see some of the comments, the answers for the bar blade competition. That's not a bad idea, I think, because we said we'd do one at the end of the moment. I know exactly who's getting my vote, but let's see if there are any answers that I hadn't spotted, and whether or not there's going to be something different. I think Carl was usually very quick at getting the comments up, so I don't think we'll have to sort of tread water for much longer.
Who was your favourite comment? Symbol. Distilled version of Baymax from Big Hero 6. Okay, cool.
That's not a bad one, actually.
That's the first time I've heard that.
Is it a native symbol? Unfortunately, Kim, no, it's not.
But we've had that one. We've had like rooms and stuff like that before. Is it a moth?
Is it a moth? No. So well, that might come down to something to do with moth and midge bog being the Mackmyra translation of the original village, perhaps.
Ancient writing. Okay.
Again, that
comes up quite a bit.
That's a great guess, but unfortunately, it's not correct. Caroline,
that's about its gloves.
I'm so glad you've reacted that way, Mick, because that's the one. That's the one I've been waiting to see. So I mean, just to let everyone know, that's the one to beat. Skis, unfortunately, Rob, it's not a pair of skis. Not those.
Well, Rich, I think then it's a safe bet if that's the one you picked out earlier.
Oh my God, it is.
Was my reaction to that one.
I can't tell you how much time. How much time I put in to those memes, and how many of those memes I shared on WhatsApp with.
It's horrendously wrong, but I mean, pure just comedy value.
Yeah, just so that everyone knows for sure. We did say it was either get the right answer or the one that tickled us the most. This is not the right answer. It wasn't the founders having a sort of prophetic image or whatever of Bernie Sanders 21 years later with his mittens on. That was the comic answer that we were looking for. So dear. Caroline's getting a bar blade. Connor, I think, has put his details in the his email address in the comments, Caroline. So send him an email and he'll get that out to you in no time.
Well done, Caroline. I like that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I hope no one's sitting at home going, I don't find that amusing at all. If you don't, I'm so sorry, and we'll move on from the mitten stuff. But that tickles me greatly. What a comment! What a picture, Carl. You're a bit slow getting the comments up, but very on the ball with getting that wiggle.
Because he was searching for those two gifts. That's why.
I expect that's what was happening. So we'll cut in some slack tonight. I think that's he did a stellar job doing that. That was a good laugh. Right. So that's time we've done a recap. We've done the competition for the bar blade. We talked about the deal. We've got, hopefully there might be some more pictures trickling in. I know that we've had a good number of people respond to that now. So your last sort of, I don't know, last segment now to get any pictures in that you want to. Hashtag love Mackmyra, win a bottle of Mac and a pair of t-shirts, and you're laughing. So I say, Mick, the cocktail segment, as always, is your baby. So I'll hand over to you and let you take it away.
I'll try my best. So, guys, you'll notice you've got 2 drams left. Well, you've got a bottle and a dram left. So we're going to take your bottle of B, okay? Your bottle of B, and you're going to take your svensk hook. We're not going to talk overly in great detail about them, but what we're going to do is we're going to make a cocktail, which we're calling the Shane. So, like I said, so we're going to take the svensk hook and the B. Okay, all I want you to do is take a glass. Yeah, probably should have pre-warned you about this actually. But
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
In any glass, a tumbler. And let me see if I can adjust my camera a bit better. Excuse the this would. So I'm on my phone now because I had a major breakdown, obviously earlier on with the iPad or whatever.
Your phone
was actually set up to be the cocktail camera, so this should have been all sleight of hand, etc. So I'm going to try and position it. So that we get a bit of a better go. So there we go. Okay, you have to excuse the lockdown wait. So take your ordinary tumbler, guys. Okay, and take some ice. Ice is up to you. I'm quite lucky. I've got a big silicone thing for ice. So I can do big squares of ice. So with me ice, drop me ice in. I'm going to take my Mackmyra B. So that's a honey liqueur. And I'm going to make that a double, guys. Okay, so 2 parts. In this case, 50 ml. So I'll tell you 2 parts because if you wanted a bigger drink of it, then that's up to you. So 2 parts of the B, and then 1 part of the svensk hook. So we're just pouring these over ice. Nothing. No fancy cocktail shaker required for these guys on this particular one, any road. And then we take our bar spoon or a finger or whatever it is you got at hand, a pen, whatever, and just give that a wee stir to chill the contents down there and get them married together. And that's it. Now, normally I would probably finish this off with an orange peel. What's the word I'm looking for, Rich? Garnish. That's the word I'm looking for. So just cut a nice bit of orange peel. Give that a twist over the glass and place that in. Oof. And there we go. Happy Valentine's Day, Slange, and here's a Shane.
Here's the Shane. So I had to perform a bit of a smooth manoeuvre there, Mick, and run off and get some ice, which meant that I actually didn't hear some of the instructions for that. So for anyone like me who was off fetching a tumbler or a glass, can you very quickly go over what I should be doing?
Of course.
And I apologise for making you repeat yourself.
Not a problem at all. So take your tumbler, add your ice, whether that be a block, cubes, whatever you want to do. Take your B, so take your liqueur, and you want to pour 2 measures of that in. So whether you're using 25, whatever. So 2 parts of that. In this case, I used 50 ml as my 2 parts, so 25 ml a measure.
Okay.
And that's it. Just into the glass over the ice. Yeah. And then we take our svensk hook, and we're going to put 1 part of that in. So in this case, it would be 25 ml.
Lovely.
And we're just going to pour that over the top into the glass.
Well, Shane has been talking about this in various meetings that I've been on with retailer shops we work with, or tastings we've been on for I don't know how long, and I've never gotten around to actually making it. So very excited to see, whether or not he's actually got a good mixture here. Let's see.
So with all the liquid in the glass and the ice in the glass, all you want to do is take a bar spoon if you've got one, a normal spoon, a finger, a pen, a chopstick. I normally stir a lot of my cocktails up, stir downs anyway with I've got some plastic chopsticks in the kitchen drawer. So one of those normally, even though I've got a very nice bar spoon, I tend to use my chopstick more for some unknown reason.
Oh, that smells fantastic. The nose on that smells fantastic.
Yeah. So it's got a nice velvetyness. It's got a lovely velvetyness and smoothness coming from the bee. But we've kicked it up a little bit in the taste profile by adding that smoky profile with the juniper twigs over the top of it. So, peat and sweet always go together. So if you look at some of the more successful peated scotches, one of our favourites, Rich, Lechic 18. Do you know what I mean? That's a fairly heavily peated whiskey done in sherry casks. So you're getting the sweetness from that sherry, and you're getting that heavy hit of peat there. So it's the same with this. So we're getting a nice hit of peat from the Spetsgruk, and we're combining it with that lovely, silky, smooth, sweet texture of the bee. And see, to me, that's lovely. See one of those after dinner?
Wow. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Heather, who we saw a picture of me and her earlier, who's in the next room, I'll introduce her to this after the tasting tonight, because she's a massive fan of peated, of smoky whiskey. I have to say, I saw Derek's comment about tried the bee when it arrived, thought it might have been a bit on the sweet side. Adding the rook makes it's a bit lovely. I think that's I'm
Derek, happy with it. I mean, ticking the box, job done.
the bee, I think, as far as liqueurs go, I think that bee that's a good product, but I haven't got enough of a sweet tooth to sit and drink any sort of liqueur on its own, no matter how good it is. But mixed into things as they're, I don't know if they're sort of meant to be, but they're almost really meant to be sort of combined with other things, be it your coffee or cocktails or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just 2 ingredients and a garnish, right? That's simple. And so that sweetness, exactly what you said, that texture, and I keep talking about that tonight because for me, my personal taste, that texture is so important as like for me to enjoy.
And that's texture 101 right there.
Yeah. Well, a smoky whiskey, smoky whiskies always have, tend to have far more often than not a good texture to them, or at least some texture to them. So that combined with a liqueur, which is just filled with texture because of what it is in its nature, those 2 things combined, that mouthfeel's there. It hasn't left any stickiness on my teeth or on my tongue, which is something I'm usually quite averse to with liqueurs in particular. That's fresh. It's got that sweetness to it, and that smoke for me it's very, very present, but it's not at the forefront of it. It's integrated into it so well. I think that balance has done well. Shane, if you're listening, if you're out there, if you watch us back,
of course he's watching. We mentioned his name, so a radar is going to go off in his room.
I'll say this on record.
They talk about
while being recorded, you've smashed it with this. So I think unless you've stolen this recipe from a well-known source, I think calling it the Shane, I think we can get away with that. I think he's earned it.
That's one, Bully.
Yeah. So I think that's
Mr. Bully thinks it's okay. Yeah. Happy with that, mate. I'll take okay better than any day.
Well, I don't know if she doesn't like it, it means you get more of it, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We still need to know what the symbol means. We're going to do that before. Were we going to do it before?
Are we going to do it now?
Oh, we didn't. Oh, all we did was do the competition winner, and then we just left it, Mick. We moved on, and we didn't.
That's right.
Didn't tell us what it was.
Rich, do you know what it is? Can you remember?
Yeah. Yes, it's Bernie Sanders without his mittens.
Yes. So no. So.
Oh, brilliant!
That is never going to get old. That's brilliant.
So I can say what it is, Mick, unless you'd like to take it away.
I'm easy, brother. I can do it. So, guys, it's an industrial wood staple for doorways. Basically, I have got a picture of it, one somewhere. I don't know, Carl, have you got it? That was actually at the Brooks Distillery.
I think if Carl can find that, given that we hadn't planned any of this at all, and it only came out of because of the question, Fair play, Carl, if you can find it.
Can
you describe what it does with the beans?
It's on a stone. It's on a white stone washed wall, and you'll see it, and that's where it comes from. So yeah, basically, it's an industrial carpentry staple that's used in doorway beams, basically.
Yeah. So I imagine there's a few people sitting at home now going, huh? Why would that be your symbol? I don't know. I think I'll say a bit tongue in cheek, perhaps. I don't think we had much of a marketing department when we came up with that as a logo. But I think it's symbolic of the Brooks distillery. When we moved into the Brooks distillery in 2002, having been distilling all of our whiskey in extraordinarily small quantities for the first 3 years in a series of founders' garden sheds and gardens and things. Moving into that distillery, it was it's an old school building. It used to be a factory, a mill, and things, and those sort of cable ties at the end of it. Here's the white building, and then the red brick closest to us, not the big red building in the background, which is a big stable, but the building essentially, is the Brooks distillery, and I think. Those sort of cable ties basically at the end, keeping sort of two beams, roofing beams or whatever it might be together, sort of is synonymous with industry, and I don't know our evolution perhaps from being a small, very 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 small producer into something where we could finally get a footprint on the world stage and make enough whiskey to not only supply Sweden and customers there, but actually to start exporting it and things. So I think the outside of the Brooks distillery, there are lots of these cable ties around, and somebody liked it. They're engineers. Remember, they're all the 8 founders are engineers. So that sort of thing, and that the simplicity of it, I guess, and all factored in. I think if we had a big marketing department at the time, or somebody that we had 7 founders or engineers, and one of them was a marketing executive. We may well have had a different logo, who knows, but that's the logo we've got, and if you're ever tasting with us in the future, you'll be able to guess right and win something perhaps.
No, but I'll know you've entered before.
Indeed, we'll keep tabs on it, but I'll say cheers to this cocktail, and I hope everyone has had a great evening, and a happy 14th still to come as well, whatever you may be doing. Yeah.
So, Carl and Connor, I think we should start flashing up some of the pictures for myself and my esteemed colleagues to start judging the loveliness of our couples and things that they think are lovely. Thanks
very much. Yeah. What have we got? I think that's a strong contender, if you ask me. Contender. Yeah. This one as well. That looks like the Brooks distillery to me. Is this Carl? Oh, Carl has managed to just about zoom in to a teeny tiny example of it.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
There's your cable tie. Tie. Yeah,
there it is.
Well, it's either Carl or Connor actually in the background. I think we've got another colleague helping out.
So there it is. I've got a picture of it. I'll get it over to the guys for the next show or something.
Oh, so I mean that for me. Hashtag love Mackmyra, that's a strong contender to start.
Strong contender. And when you get I like the fact that you've loved the tasting. I think that's brilliant. I think the fact that you've loved the tasting, that's brilliant. And one of the things when we do send you the t-shirts, we want a picture of you and your loved one in the t-shirts as well. That would be really cool.
That would be brilliant if someone could. Yeah. Let's have a close up on these if we can, guys. That's an excellent one.
I thought that was an actual dog for a minute when I first saw it, and then it's enlarged it as a puppet.
Who's this from? Who's it from? I can't see it. It's a bit blurry. I can't read the right. I don't know if you can read it, Mick, at all. But
no, mate, I've had to downgrade to my phone. I'm having to stretch across my table to look at this.
The Wonder Chris, that's from. So I like that. That's a happy person. That's someone enjoying the company of their sock puppet as well on Valentine's. I think so. That's great. And here's a lovely one out in the garden. Yeah, Again, I can't see who that's from, unfortunately. So hopefully we can have that in there. Danielle Jack. Brilliant. That's an excellent one. I think that's
I like that.
If that's a lockdown one as well, just being able to be outside and enjoy a bit of the outdoors, a bit at home. So that's a fantastic one.
That's got to be tomorrow.
Oh, is this tomorrow? Yeah.
That's tomorrow and her husband.
Yeah, that's a great one. What's that in the background? Is it an aquarium or something? I can't quite tell. Are those rasta hats or frogs?
Yeah.
It looks like little frog eyes on the top.
I think they're frogs.
Well, but the dreadlocks, I don't imagine, unless they've got matching dreadlocks, it must be a rasta hat. Yeah, a rasta frog hat. That's a great one.
No, Carl,
unfortunately, you're not in this. You can't.
Couple, but no.
Yeah.
No,
wonderful,
not a winner. No.
Lovely picture, but
you definitely can't win, son.
You're exempt from it. These are great. These are what a bunch of lovely, happy pictures. I've got it's hard to pick, mate, really, because actually, what we've asked for is quite hard.
There's a couple of nice, funny ones. But I think for fun and a lovely couple together, Rich, I don't know. I think we'll have to go for Tamara. What do you reckon?
I'm thinking Tamara or Danielle Jack. Although I did really like that. I liked all of those that came through.
Yeah, they're all great photos. But I tell you what, do you know what? I'll cop it. But being the senior brand ambassador on the stream, Rich. Well, I think we'll send 2 T-shirts to Tamara and 2 T-shirts to Danielle as well.
Yeah, well, I think so. That's Danielle's parents. They're celebrating their love. It sounds like to me.
So Danielle can then give the T-shirts to her parents.
Right, let's do that.
Once you receive the T-shirts, we'd absolutely love you to take a picture of you in the T-shirts and send it to us.
But Mick,
using our social media, I think that would be brilliant.
We'd also, if you recall, we'd up the ante a little bit halfway through the show.
Oh, so we did. That's cool. That's cool.
I expect you saying, I'm feeling, I'm feeling the love. Let's. I think that's a bottle each with the T-shirts, right? Surely. Yeah. Okay.
There might be a problem tomorrow. You're watching from Germany, so what we'll do is we'll get in touch with our Germany shop.
Yes.
And make sure you get a bottle of Mac, or even the T-shirts and the Mac from them as well. Or we'll send you the T-shirts and get them to send you the Mac, because obviously due to circumstances out with our control, we're currently unable to send any alcohol outside of the UK from the UK shop. But we do have a web shop in Europe, so we'll get you a bottle of Mac and your 2 T-shirts to your pal as well. So well done.
Thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone who joined in then and sent pictures. And I wish we could do things for everyone. But yeah, I think that's nice. It's nice. A double giveaway. I think that's not too bad. I think for a Valentine's one. So most welcome tomorrow. Yeah. All right. So Mick, people's favourites. I think it might be time to ask what your favourite drams. Did the cocktail outshine any of the whiskey?
I'm going to be honest. I think the cocktail edges it for me.
Is it because it's a new thing for you, or do you think it's ticked those Mickey's boxes?
It does. It really does. And all the drams are great. Obviously, we're going to say that. But I do really, the reason that I work for Mackmyra is because I do believe in the product. I do enjoy the whiskey that we produce. But no, I think the Shane edges it for my drink of the evening. What about yourself, Rich?
I hate agreeing with you, always. But I think it has for me. And the reason I said to you, is it because it's a new thing for you? And we haven't. It's because I was wondering to myself, is that why it's my favourite before you'd even sort of got into it?
I mean, but let's break it down into why we like it. It's really good on the palate. It's smooth. It coats the mouth without being what I call. See, sometimes things that are too sugary I get what's called itchy teeth. Do you know what I mean? If you have like a couple of too many blue WKDs or something like that, you get like itchy teeth. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't give me. It's nice. It gives me a nice bit of sweetness. It's got a nice little smoky profile there. So the sweet and the peat, Yeah. It ticks all my boxes. It works for me.
So I'm not letting you get away with that. I reckon you were hoping I'll just sort of forget and move on. But when was the last time you had a blue WKD?
I can't possibly say.
Oh, that recent.
Yeah.
Well, you live in Glasgow, I suppose. It's
well these days, it normally a bottle of blue WKD normally goes into a double measure report for a cheeky Vimto, Rich. So
I'm not sure if you can try and class things up now. If I say, a little bit of port on the end. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I think favourite for me, cocktail, I'd say. Favourite one. So Caroline, love the cocktail. Can't wait for summer. All of us, I think, would be very much looking forward to it. Mick and I have been freezing cold.
Caroline would be on the bottles of tonic and stuff like that with her new bar blade, just like.
Andrew's on the cocktail as well, and nice. Closest to the wife enjoying whiskey. That's a great. Yeah.
So that reminds me of how I got my good lady into whiskey. Was actually a whiskey cream liqueur. So there were a number of them on the market. This particular one was Arran Gold. We spent a nice weekend in Arran, went to both distilleries just before I started working for Mackmyra. And she's like, she doesn't really like whiskey in the normal sense per se, but she really did enjoy Arran Gold. So it's the base of it's whiskey. So I count that up as a big tick in the box in the win for I've got another convert to whiskey.
Nice. I think there's a couple of there's two questions in particular that I think we should address before sliding off into the night while we're all enjoying our cocktails to go. I think the first one was about food that came up a few minutes ago or 5 minutes ago. So I think on that note, I would advise perhaps if Carl could put into the comments a link to our Breakfast with B shows that we did. So across the summer, I think we only wanted to do it for about a month or so because we just wanted to have some ideas about what you can do with
just shake it up a little bit.
If we put into the comments for that the link to our YouTube channel, and I think you'll be able to find it on Facebook as well. But with that, you'll find various things where you can actually not just necessarily pair whiskey with foods, but actually use that whiskey in preparation of things. So the one that I've actually made 3 times since is a smoky cheese sauce using the rook, adding Sven's rook into a cheese sauce and
vegetable sauce.
I've had it on a burger and used that cheese sauce as the cheese for a cheeseburger, and I've had it with pasta and things as well. Oh my god, it is unbelievable. So that's what I say for the food there. Other than that, as to pairing food, I mean, just experiment with things. It's not something that I don't spend a great deal of time doing. I know that with some the Mac and the Brooks, some toffees or some chocolates, stuff like that. It's not a bad idea. So have a look at that. But I'll check out that YouTube page for it.
So
and
what's actually really quite good with the Mac, believe it or not, is actually a Granny Smith apple.
Oh,
bang a nice measure of the Mac into the freezer, right? For maybe 2 hours or so, right? Pour it into a nice dram glass or whatever, and just take your knife and take a Granny Smith apple and just have a wee slice of apple and a sip of the Mac from the freezer. Refreshing and really nice and a little bit different as well.
Sounds nice. That sounds nice.
People always go on about like different types of cheeses and chocolates and desserts and stuff like that for whiskey. But there's a big world of food outside of the traditional as well. And we like to try and, while we keep with tradition in general, we like to try and innovate amongst that as well. And so just like different ideas like that, like, putting the smoky whiskey into a cheese sauce. Now with that cheese sauce, because you bechamel for a lasagna or whatever, I mean, I think that's just giving me an idea. There's a idea there. And just stuff like that, guys. You know what I mean? Don't be scared. In fact, if you play about with it, let us know how you get on. Yeah, drop us a message, post it, tag us in it. Let us know how you get on, guys. That would be lovely.
Caroline's on it. It looks like there. of the other question that somebody posted just a moment ago was about Prestige. Just a quick recap on Prestige. It's part of our moment range. Our moment range is designed to showcase basically what different types of oak and different types of cask finishes, or as Mick said, this is maturation, not finish, but what different types of casks can do to our spirit character. Highly limited in their number. I think there was 4,300. I might be 100 or 200 out there, I think, but
the Prestige, 4,111.
There we go, 4,111 bottles of it. Not
Rich, if I take Shish Bush Look, our latest moment, there was only 1,500 bottles of that.
Yeah, I know, but there's fewer than that left now, though, of the Prestige. Yeah, so so 4,100 bottles. It's been matured in 3 different types of, as Mick said earlier, we'll call it for simplicity's sake, champagne casks. So from casks that the brilliant champagne producer Philipponnat even used to mature their wine before turning it into champagne. So first fill, second fill, and third fill, meaning that it's very fresh. The last thing that was in it was the wine, the champagne, then our whiskey on the first fill, and then second fill we'd had whiskey in it before, third fill we'd had whiskey in it twice before. So all of that sort of blending together. It's between 11 and 14 years old. I think that 40% of it is 14 years old, and for us that's significant age for us.
That's quite old.
And when you're maturing something in wine, especially first fill X wine casks, you don't want it in there for too long because it will just take too much. It will become too overpowered by the contents that have been in there before. So you've got to keep it that sort of sweet spot. So the moments of our most exclusive whiskies, basically. And that one, we jokingly said it earlier, but again, it is probably accurate. It's the most sophisticated of them all, the most sort of elegant.
Of course, it's in our super premium luxury range, which obviously is the cream of our crop per se, without going into the single cask stuff that you can get, and then obviously using then what's considered worldwide as a very premium product in champagne, to actually mature the whiskey in at the same time. So it's probably the cream of the crop when it comes to Mackmyra range bottlings, basically.
Yeah, cool. So that might be time to sort of start wrapping things up.
Yeah,
Mick, sad I could sit here actually for some more time. I wish we had another 5 to go through, although we'll probably spoil my dinner afterwards. We'll see. But thank you, Mick, for hosting. I'm so glad that we got you properly in.
It's been a murder this evening. Honestly, we've been absolute months and months and months, no dramas whatsoever. And then we get 2 in the same year. I mean,
you're in, and I'm sure everyone's grateful to have you here. So it's not just me the whole time. I know that I am. But yeah, thank you.
Super like to say that.
Thank you, everyone who's joined us for not just the first time as well. And thanks to everyone who's been who has joined us for the first time. A little recap, Mick. Final recap before we go.
Yeah, sure. So we covered our core range this evening. We explored into beef for the first time in a very long time, at least. And we showed you what combining something dead sweet with something dead smoky can be like as well. So we've covered all taste profiles, and hopefully you've loved everything that we've had this evening. But also, if you buy a bottle of Malt Prestige from Mackmyra.co.uk, you will receive 40% off a core bottle. So just to remind you, a core bottle is Mack, Brooks, Svensk Svensk. Okay, so get yourself a bottle of Malt Prestige and get yourself one of your favorite core ranges, and you'll get 40% off the core range bottling. So yeah, Rich, we've still got a couple of other things coming up this week and in the next couple of weeks. What are they?
Yeah, so we've got the Mackmyra Inn that we do every Friday, Mick and I. It's our virtual pub chat. It's us trying to replace or try and give everyone an option, a replacement for the post Friday night work drinks, basically. So 6 o'clock every Friday, Mick and I get together with a special VIP patron of our pub, every week. I think this week we've got Andrea Dianori from Milroy's. He's the old and rare manager of Milroy's of Soho, the oldest whiskey bar in London, with their 2 locations now, as well as the brand ambassador for Hidden Spirits, which is a fantastic independent bottling company. He sits on a panel for judging international spirits competitions, and also represents an enormous Chinese baju producer as well, if I'm pronouncing that right. Baju.
We'll find out on Friday, Rich. We'll find out.
We'll find out on Friday. Yeah. So he's someone I'm really excited to have him come on and talk to us, because he's got an enormous wealth of knowledge about him, and he's a really great guy as well. So that's Friday. Next week, I can't remember what we've got next week, other than the following Friday.
Next Friday we have Andrew Smith from Little Brown Dog Spirits. Look them up, guys, if you've never heard them before we tune in with Andrew. And that might be another clue to something that might be hitting the shelves before the end of February.
Ooh. Yeah, something bubbling. Yeah.
In the past couple of weeks we've alluded to a Mackmyra stroke non-Mackmyra product hitting the shelves, and that man might be able to tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so looking forward to that, definitely. And that, I think that's it for the next couple of weeks anyway. But we do regular tastings. If anyone's enjoyed this, would ever want to repeat it again, but with the moment being one of our seasonal whiskies, we do monthly tastings of that as well. So check out our social media channels for it. Please remember to, I don't care how often you hear this from shows that you watch or anything on Facebook or YouTube, please like and subscribe. It really makes a huge difference to us, and you'll find out about things we've got coming up. We tend to do quite a lot of giveaways on the shows that we do as well. Cheers, Andrew. So tune in just for that, even if it's that, if you want. But come along, and we always try and mix things up, so it's not just us saying the same things all the time. Or we do our best thing not to. After a few drinks, who knows what's going to happen.
We like to change it up normally.
I think so.
Sometimes.
So, there's someone, and I'll say this, and just before hopefully Carl sneaks me out quickly, we've had a comment, Mick, saying that they hope you enjoy the bus pass. And on that note, I'll say good night and farewell to everyone. Cheers, and hope to see you again soon. Skull. Happy Valentine.
Who's Nick?